collateral, they look good. We can see right here, if the marks don't move, so the marks being how much their loan book is worth. If the marks don't move, volatility is near zero. If volatility is near zero, then any positive return produces an astronomical Sharpe ratio. So the Sharpe ratio shows the volatility and the return profile of that. And so these are getting astronomical Sharpe ratios because they're showing no volatility. So any uptick makes it look amazing because there's no downside. But why is there no volatility? Well, because the marks don't move. And again, why don't the marks move? Because the rating agencies don't move the marks. That's where we're talking about the conflict. We can see here it's evidence that the Sharpe ratio being so high, it's evidence that the marks are fiction. So we know that that loan book is not worth what they say it is. It says that they have an A rating and their marks haven't moved because the rating agencies haven't moved them down because of conflict of interest, but we know they're fiction because of that. It says a skewness of a negative 2.45 and an excess kurtosis of 1.44. So this is measuring the ratio, the Sharpe ratio, so we understand how much risk and how much reward profile we have. It says risk is catastrophically asymmetric to the downside. We don't want that. We want asymmetric to the upside, meaning we have more upside than downside. But in this case, you have way more downside than upside. We don't want to invest in that stuff. Kurtosis of 14.4 means extreme events are hiding in the tails. So not showing up. You don't see them in the monthly returns, but eventually they all arrive at once. That's the problem. The returns look calm 96% of the time, and then disaster strikes. So what they're saying is that there's massive risk. You can see it if you dig a little bit into the numbers. You can see that there's massive asymmetric risk. So it's not going up. All the risk is to the downside. And that's what's going to catch most people off guard. Okay, and the problem is this is everywhere. When you dig through the private credit, when you dig through private equity, you start to see this is just the way the game is played. The incentive structure, again, show me the incentives, I show you the outcome. Because of the incentive structure, this is what we get. This is the outcome. Now, what we can see is Apollo, one of the big funds, let's take a look at this. Apollo's own executives admit as much. And we've seen Blackstone, one of the biggest, Blue Owl. They've had to recently now stop redemption. This is a pretty big deal. You can see some news headlines right here. Trapped in private credit, investors wait to pull out $5 billion. So investors who have their money in there that want to get their money back out, the redemptions are paused. Blue Owl peers push back on private credit risks amid market jitters. You can see private credit funds face redemption crisis. So it's not just Blue Owl. All these private credit funds are facing the same redemption crisis. Now, why are the credit